at the first moment when my spotter told me, well, you won the championship, I was like, okay, because basically I had been calculating for so long, so even with him telling me like, you won the championship, I was still very doubtful. But eventually coming into the pit lane, seeing that we were in victory lane, seeing that we actually won the championship, it finally started to sink in, and now by every moment it's basically starting to sink in more and more. Basically, so especially this race, I was the whole time calculating in the car where I was going to end up in the championship, because we knew we had a fast car in the right at the beginning of the race. That's why we managed to grab the lead. But as we were dropping back, because we just didn't manage quite well our car yet, I was the whole time calculating, okay, I lose one spot, okay, what does this mean for the championship? I lose another one, what does this mean? So in a way I was racing and calculating at the same time, which is an interesting combination as well. And also earlier in the season, I mean, up until Grobnik in Croatia, we basically were able to run the full championship. And then obviously we came to, well, Zolder happened, and we were not there because I was testing with the Next Gen Cup car, which was obviously very exciting, but for the championship-wise, in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, it was a bit tough. So in the end, lots of calculating. I'm happy it's over now. Enjoy the calm for a bit, but soon we're going to be full focus back. You're so focused with what you're doing, there's so much adrenaline, so I think in general it's just a lot of focus. But then you are telling yourself, in my case for example, I was fast in the beginning of the race, but then really dropping off a lot towards the end of the race. And I was just trying to also put my ego aside of like saying, okay, it's not about the podium that you're going to get today, but it's about the bigger picture, which is getting the championship win. And I think I was able to do that and still capture that championship. The first time people can always say, yeah, you were maybe lucky or whatever, but I guess when you win it 2 times, there's not really much debating about it anymore. And I think this is really the way that I wanted to basically end my EuroNASCAR career, which is by winning the 2nd championship and then being able to make this move towards America. I never had any doubt about my own potential, and I think I spoke with some people earlier about that as well. I think what for me at least felt like helped a lot is when I won my first NASCAR Whelen Euro Series championship in 2019. I think this was kind of for me a boost and a confirmation to say like, you are able to do this. So a lot of times this season you could see in the free practices, sometimes I would be 4th, sometimes 3rd, sometimes 5th, sometimes 2nd, and then in qualifying a lot of times I was able to turn it around. And I think it's because, especially on my own side, it's because I was able to mentally just stay focused. I never doubted myself. I was just like, well, we tried a few things on the car. They worked, they did not work, and now let's make sure we turn it around for qualifying. And I think this is also why this year I've had my most poles, so I think that's one of the reasons why I've just been mentally very strong. I think the lowest point of the season was probably, I think it would have to be race 1 in Most, because basically I was in the lead of the race, I was managing the race, it started raining, then everybody stayed out for one more lap on the slick tires basically, and then at the end of that lap I was like, okay, it started raining harder, do I go in or do I stay out? I decided to go in, which was the right call actually, because it started raining very hard. And then we basically lost a lot of time with the pit stop, because sadly we were not prepared for the pit stop. We lost about just over a minute in time-wise, so I ended up going from P1 to P16. Okay, fighting my way back up to P8 because we had 3 more laps or 4 more laps I think under green. But I think that was one of the lowest points, even if relatively you could say the result was not so bad, but to be able to, or to lose a first position in that way, that is something very difficult to swallow. I think the highest point can always be said as, well, winning the championship, this year especially. In 2019, for example, one of my highest points was winning in Rivalry on the oval because it was in front of my home crowd. But I think here it's definitely winning the championship because it was very much to the line. I mean, I think it was 3 points that separated me and Jimmy Erkely. So it was a very close battle, and I mean, we were struggling in that last race, so that last race was a lot of tension that would happen a few hours ago. It was an absolute great feeling to be able to raise a trophy with fans at the track. For I mean, almost close to 2 years now, especially in Europe. We have obviously been without race fans. It has been a very difficult period for everybody, but just to see the fans at the track and to see how happy and how grateful they are that basically they can come back to the track is great to see. So you really want to make the extra time for the fans to be able to have that conversation, be able to spend a little bit of extra time with them in order to really, well, check their wish list. I think you definitely do feel the fans present. I would say when you're really racing, let's say you start from lap 1 and you start really racing together, you're more focused on the racing itself. But basically, let's say the warm-up lap, things like that, standing on the grid, they're kind of there to, in a way, motivate you. Also, they build up your nerves because there's a lot more eyes basically putting pressure on you. But it's good nerves, you know, so it makes you sharp, it makes you react better. So it makes you, in a way, less lazy and performing better in a lot of cases. I think, honestly, even if Alan Day wouldn't be standing here, I think my toughest opponent that I probably had in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series is definitely Alan Day. So yeah, no, definitely I think me and Alan, we always have good banter, which is always really funny. So, but we get along. I mean, on track a lot of times we don't get along, but in a way that is still respectful. So we're right on the limit, but not pushing each other off. So definitely some of my best battles have been with Alan, and I've always enjoyed them. So I think we can very much respect each other after racing each other for close to 4 years. The funniest thing this season, I would say, was Alan basically interrupting my championship video to say that he had 3 championship wins. But then again, I have 2, but in a shorter amount of time. So he thought it was a bit below the belt, but you know, we're good friends, so it's all right. During the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series recruitment program, the first thing that I realized with this car, even if, yes, you could say compared to a lot of the European racing, the technology is maybe from a bit back. After 5 laps in the car, I told my dad, I told the people that were already involved with Hendrix, I told them, like, this is the most fun I've had in the car in my life. You know, this is the most fun driving experience that I've had. That was the first of all, the first appealing thing that I had. It's kind of going back to basics, really racing on the mechanical grip on the car. But yeah, and from there, I did think, okay, you know, let's see what this has to offer. And I think initially, maybe we did not think it could have this potential. But I think quite quickly over time, when we saw the support that NASCAR was giving as well, I think we really were able to see that this championship really does have a great potential to allow you to grow further basically into the States. And you can see it with other drivers too that have been in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. I think my experience in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series was basically the big stepping stone towards building my career in NASCAR. I think in 2017, when in the winter of 2017 I started with the recruitment program, if you see the journey that I was able to make, and a lot of people say, yeah, but the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, it's kind of a sole championship in Europe. There's no real potential to go to America. But, you know, for myself, I was able to go from winning the championship. I was able to go to the NASCAR Awards, make contact there, be able to run at Speed Weeks, be able to run in Xfinity, build my career up from Xfinity. And now, well, over time, I'm going to be in the Cup Series. So this is a incredible opportunity, an incredible journey that I've been on, and I'm incredibly thankful because in the end it started with that one test that was in the end of 2017, where in the recruitment program of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. I think until I was even saying, so when we were talking about the Cup Series, the whole situation, I think even seeing the Cup car the day before the test in the workshop, I wasn't realizing fully of what was going to happen basically. It's only when when I first basically stepped into the car and did my first lap, I was like, okay, we're actually here and this is actually going to be happening right now. It was extremely exciting. It went extremely well as well. I did the 12th fastest lap time. We knew that we had a little bit of margin of improvement. So we were extremely happy with the results that we did. We know it's still a very, very long way and a big stepping stone to go forward with, but we were very excited about what we were able to do. I would say basically my 2022 preparation, it already starts, maybe not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow. So basically as soon as possible, you already want to try and get focused. Maybe obviously in the beginning you're starting off a bit slower, but trying to basically accumulate as much data as possible, trying to get as fit as possible in the best shape that I've been, and try to continue in that way, because it is going to be a tough challenge. It's a big mountain to climb. So we're going to try the very best to get the maximum out of it.